Here at Music of the Baroque, we are absolutely thrilled to launch our biennial Music of the Baroque Award to somebody who has made an enormous contribution, not just to us, but also to the arts world. And our first recipient is the great Joan Harris. Joan, we couldn't be more thrilled that you've agreed to accept this award from us.
Well, I'm just flattered and thrilled that you found me and have asked me to do this, and I'm so happy to do it.
Well, it's so appropriate because, of course, your theatre, the Harris Theatre, has been our home for the last 20 years here in Chicago. And could you tell us a little bit about how that theatre came into being?
We looked everywhere. On the west side, on the south side, in Evanston, in the central part of the city. And basically what we got was, you'll never do it. You can't do it. It can't be done. And just a few of us said, we need it. At that time, Millennium Park was not in existence, but it was in formation.
Yeah. As
it turns out, a couple of people who had been working with what became the Harris Theater and trying to find a place said, oh, the Music and Dance Theater is looking for a place, maybe we'll try that. And that's how we ended up
in the best possible location.
Could not have been a better choice.
It's perfect, isn't it?
And of course, the neighbors then, the people on Michigan Avenue, somewhat, the store owners, but basically the people on Randolph Street said, oh no you don't. We don't want a fly tower sticking up in the middle of the city. No. Our architect, Tom Beebe, who was flexible and smart and calm, said, okay, why don't we go down? I had invited Tom to come to Aspen to look to see what an underground place looked like.
Because of course there is another Harris Theatre in Aspen.
That's exactly why I had him come out, just to look at it, to see what we can do. If you want to hear a little place with great acoustics.
Yes.
So he thought, why don't we do it underground? And that's how it came to be, that they dropped the theater in the middle of 3,000 parked cars.
Yes.
And that's exactly what it is. It's down. It went down. And sometimes I think I'm going to look out and see the fish swimming in the lake.
Because you're so generous to us and you've been associated with us, Music of the Baroque, for a long time now, is there something about Baroque music, music of the 17th and 18th centuries, that speaks to you particularly?
Initially, I would have said the mathematical certainty. That's what I used to think when I was very young.
Wow.
That it didn't have, that's all it was. And then I realized that that's the underpinning, isn't it?
Yes. Are you thinking of somebody like Bach, who
is exactly
not just one of the greatest composers of all time, but actually one of the greatest intellectuals?
Yes. Yes.
And that's why he's so difficult to perform.
Yes.
Even the smallest pieces
right.
are just so hard.
Well, when you're a teenager and you're just coming up to this, you don't think about that. But I did think that Baroque music was all mathematics. And then I realized it's very deep.
It is. It's all-encompassing in a way. And although a lot of the music that we play in your theatre is destined actually for churches, you know,
yes.
like passions and masses and that sort of thing, we still feel that it works very well in your building, which is such an honest acoustic, but also is generous both to the performers and to the audience. I hope you're very proud of that.
Well, I'm always very pleased. I can't believe the sound is so wonderful. You noticed it's not a particularly, it's not at all lavish. It's a very workmanlike kind of building. We had limited funds, and all the money really went into the technology rather than into the chandeliers.
Well, I think you've got the priorities absolutely right. Joan, we're just so delighted that you've agreed to accept our first Music of the Baroque Award as somebody who has done so much for us, as well as the wider community.
You're very, very kind to say that, I have to tell you. But I'm flattered and I'm pleased, and I'm so looking forward to being there. And
As are we.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joan, very
Thank
much
you.
indeed.